Okay, guys, so today we're going to be talking about when it's a good time to actually hire a performance based, commission only sales team for your online business, whether you're an agency owner, coach, you're selling courses, or you've got like a software company. I want to share a little bit about my experience on how I was able to figure out when it was the best time to actually hire my commission based team. So, what I did was I actually sold independently in my company for at least a year and a half to 2 years, generating around a quarter million in just cash collected for my agency. And before I even thought about replicating myself, I wanted to challenge, myself as the founder and CEO of my company, that I can figure out exactly how much volume I can just generate myself. Because when I got to a point that I was completely exhausted, I was doing around, again, I was booked up 3 to 4 days in advance. I had a well greased and oiled lead generation machine that was booking me appointments as well too, and a great team. Once I understood that there's only so much appointments that I can take on per day, and so many deals that or offers I can put out on a 24 to 48 hour basis, and once I was able to dial in my sales process and become very confident myself, I started to go ahead and understand that I should start documenting my journey. So what I did and what was my initial reaction was, again, as a founder and just someone that understands tracking data, all of my really great sales calls and different types of discovery calls I was able to actually get from my company, I started to store that data immediately. And once I start to rack in a bunch of, evidence and proof of just the deals I was closing and my approach, my process, I was able to confidently create, an experience and curriculum that was going to allow people from outside my organization to actually understand what we do here, how we do it, and how we serve our clients as well too, right? So once I was able to create all of these, resources and assets for my company, the second thing I started to look into was how is my entire customer journey and experience? Because I always had a an intuition in my gut that's like, hey, like I don't want people outside of my organization to actually just get into my company and be like, hey, like what's going on? Is this even a value? Is this a valuable service? Like, can we confidently put ourselves behind this? Like, I wanted to instill a lot of trust and a lot of excitement for both my clients and, of course, obviously my employees as well too. So the second thing I wanted to really dial in was my customer journey and experience. I built a great core team that was able to handle everything from the point that I was able to onboard a client and get them results. So from the point that a client paid and to the point that they got a launch call and whatnot, everything was completely dialed in. And I was able to now create this full assembly line of feedback loop of just clients jumping on calls to converting to now going through our enrollment and onboarding phase. Once I was able to see that process was, not being tampered with and it was completely hands off as well too, I started to back away from the organization and slowly got into a position where I understood that it might be a good time now to replicate myself and bring somebody outside from the organization into the company so they can start, taking calls and maybe even shadowing me. So, long story short, right now, as I'm making this video, I've got my entire remote commission team currently on calls right now, allowing me to completely remove myself from my business, allowing me to actually build in areas and create great videos like this for everyone to learn. So, I'm actually living, breathing, proof that this is going to allow a lot of founders to completely go into a different phase in their company or within their business to now look, from the top down and actually get some real perspective on the company. Just going back to now when it's actually a good time to start your sales team, it's really on two main factors. You should have a really good resource lab and just assets in place that covers at least 50 to 100 successful sales calls that allow external people outside your organization to see that you've been doing this for some time and that there's been consistent revenue in your company. Secondly, your agency or your online business should be doing a minimum of at least $15,000 to $30,000 in cash collected, and that too for at least a minimum of 6 to 12 months before you even think about bringing somebody else in. You as the founder of your business, or whether you're mostly the people who are building sales teams are probably going to be founders, or let's say sales managers are being brought on. Before you even choose to go into that position, the founder should be able to play the sales manager role and also lead by example for the first batch of salespeople that come into the company. Because again, as you're scaling and as you're now creating new circumstances in your business, and now you have to actually manage a completely commission-based team, it requires a lot of attention. It requires a lot of training, expectations, and overall leadership to actually get that, that team off the ground and keep them off the ground consistently, because it's not a one-time process. It is a constant. You have to constantly instill training, expectations, and overall, goals and objectives for your sales team in order for them to keep ramped up and stay fired as well too. So it's been around 2 years since we've been consistently managing and running our sales team now, and I ever so often never have to jump back into the front of my company to actually close deals. But nonetheless, these are 2 simple variables that I really think that should be taken into very strong consideration before you actually go ahead and start, hiring talent. Because again, I have made the mistake in hiring talent a lot sooner than I should have without having the proper onboarding experience for my new employees. Most importantly, not making sure that I was able to actually handle, more inbound calendar flow, and make sure I was able to successfully round robin those opportunities to my team. So there is a lot to consider when you're bringing a team in, but nonetheless, until you have not hit a position where you've closed consistently for 6 to 12 months, doing a minimum of around $15,000 to $30,000 MRR without having to, have a lot of churn, chargebacks, and returns, and your product or your service or your program is exceptional, and really, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it has to be exceptional, and they have to get results. So until you have not hit these 2 pillars in your business, I highly suggest that you make sure that all of those assets and those SOPs are created in your company, so you have less churn and you're not wasting time hiring people and then just having them fall off your organization. Again, if you need more tips and tricks and resources, or maybe if you need any help with understanding on how to build, scale, and ramp up a sales team the right way, you guys can click the link below. I've got a little booking calendar. I'll be more than happy to see how I can help you guys out. And again, I will be dropping a lot more videos like this. And in the comments below, you guys can let me know what it is that you guys want me to cover. In the next couple of topics, we will be going in through some real in-depth training on some real life sales calls as well too. And I will be dropping our exclusive, sales training program that allowed me to just crush 7 figures in deals in my own company. So whenever you guys feel like it's a good time to, book in a time, feel free. The link is at the below under the comment section, and I will be happy to help anybody out. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. If you guys found value, please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you on the next video.